Hello, please leave a message after the tone. How are you all doing?
Doing alright.
Doing okay.
Doing pretty good.
Mr. Sweepy said AM good.
AM good.
Good to hear.
Alright. Welcome everyone to Engine Heart. Engine Heart is a lovely little roleplay system, and we are going to be playing in it today. Our party consists of a few interesting people who are playing various different robots of different purposes and builds and sizes. So we are going to start from the top of the list, give a brief summary of what your robot is. By the way, I just saw a summary of your bot's name and their original purpose and what features they have. So don't get into backstory stuff. I have something prepared for that.
You are a bitch. Can't
No,
wait
well,
for
stop
this new
calling me a
campaign.
bitch and fucking explain your character. God fucking damn it.
Okay, sorry.
I'm waiting on you.
So, my robot's model is Rover. It was developed in New York City. Basically, it was developed as a kind of caretaker slash pet. Do you want to not have to clean up after your pets or feed them? And also you can charge your phone in it. Here's this $4,000 dog. And my particular one's name is Chet, and he is not at all designed for combat. He's designed to deter things by barking extremely loudly to the point where it shatters eardrums sometimes.
He has a directive as part of his program to bark at threats that he physically has to try not to do and can potentially fail not to do and be forced to do it. So there's that. All right, next in line we have lumber control and the associated drones here. So go ahead and introduce your character and their purpose.
The short of this is the lumber control is a wood cutting robot made to control all of these little drones. The cutting drones are made for cutting trees, and the carrying drones are made for carrying the trees. Also, I have a giant saw which can only be controlled by someone else.
All right. Next would be our one friend who has been forced into Texas speech, but you know what? This is a robot campaign, so it works. So next we are introducing this lovely friend.
Mr. Sweepy said my robot is a knockoff Roomba, the Mr. Sweepy model of robot sweepers. It has been modified so it has a turbo and a hydraulic lift that will let it vacuum the top of tables. It also
Belts out chiptunes while it sweeps. It sort of just cuts off, apparently. And next would be this lovely fellow here.
Alright, so my character is Rezor. He was a guard for a celebrity. He was more meant to subdue people instead of killing. So he's agile and of course has two hands. But he is a bit more rare of a model, so he has harder time finding parts.
And last but not least, we have this lovely friend here.
Okay, TOA-PA was a small passion project that was made basically to see how much money you could spend to make a bot that works while spending the least you can. Their chassis was designed from a toaster and thus can easily find new parts for the chassis, as well as most of the inner workings coming from other common models. They have a lot of extra space in them, which allows them to serve as a small compartment, and they have a cutting laser built into their small arm mechanism as well. However, they also have a overriding directive that requires them, if there is some situation where we find bread, they have to toast it.
Must toast the bread.
So, with that in mind, we are going to do a little bit of an intro to the setting and what's going on, and I'm going to give you guys a bit of backstory on what has happened up until this point, both for the stream and for you guys who are playing. So, we're going to start with a little bit of a quick recap for each of you individually, and what has happened with you and your robots. So, first off, Lumber Control and its respective drones, CARR-E and CUTT-R, were a group of robots owned by retail businessman Reginald Fartham. He made a fortune building mansions and homes for the elite of the elite, and had been put part of the in-house landscaping team for cutting down trees and foliage from new residential lots in preparation for construction. From what you recall, you didn't much care for your owner, but you did your job. You had to anyway. But Mr. Fartham did not always attract great attention. In more recent years, there was a huge push for environmental awareness, and him and his robots were summarily targets of some of the people who were not happy with this due to their rampant deforestation seen as heinous and cruel to what little nature remained. To combat this, some of these environmentalists got a little bit more extreme, and the last thing you and your drones remember is a group of dark mass thugs shutting you down and hauling you onto a truck.
Well,
TOA-PA, in his free time, TOA-PA's owner, in his free time and as freelance work, built robots using cheap parts or repurposed models of other basic robots or basic machines. When he did get paid for some of the robots, he mainly worked as at a software design company, but due to the nature of his hobby, he became somewhat popular on YouTube and created ideas from there. TOA-PA was one of his most ambitious projects, made from a discarded expensive robot model in a toaster, or a more common model, as per changes. It turned out far above his expectations, even with a proper working AI and voice module. And so to help keep TOA-PA, equipping him with a few features and teaching him his AI more about mechanical design to help him with his own future products, TOA-PA really liked his owner, a man known as Anatole. But after a while, things sort of changed. The owner wound up finding love in a new girlfriend who didn't really take well to TOA-PA. And after a while, the 2-story house where TOA-PA lived, the bottom floor was eventually basically turned into his cage. The ramp to get upstairs was removed, and it wasn't too great. One day, though, Anatole came down to TOA-PA, and with a small sigh of regret for how he treated the now somewhat artificially intelligent robot, picked him up and flicked the switch. The last thing TOA-PA remembered was his owner's face as everything faded to black. Mr. Sweepy's owner was basically just a shut-in IT specialist who really just tinkered in his off time. He owned 2 cats who Mr. Sweepy enjoyed giving a wide berth to until the cats realized that he could go upstairs now with the modifications that his owner gave him. Originally just a little cheap thing for cleaning, he was very easy to modify and suddenly had a land speed of 7 miles per hour and hydraulic means to slinky up the staircase and freak out the cats. Besides the novelty of harassing the cats, however, Mr. Sweepy would clean the tops of tables and all sorts of things that normally he wasn't programmed to do. Eventually, since the owner was a little bit on the more lonely side, he reprogrammed Mr. Sweepy to play nice, cute chip tunes and such while it cleaned, as a means of giving him a sense of companionship. One day, the owner, who Sweepy knew only as Jeff, wanted to make some additional changes to his programming and add a new gadget. To avoid any issues, however, he needed to shut down Mr. Sweepy. His owner's happy smile as he prepared excitedly to install this new catastrophic gadget was the last vision Mr. Sweepy had before the world faded to black. Chet, you are a rover model of robotic dog produced and distributed by Ambico Corporation, a company based in New York, but that has multiple warehouses and facilities across New England at this point. Your owner passed away on October 17th, 2041. You spent the next year mourning his loss, but nobody ever came to claim you or to bury him. Eventually, you began to wander. Your owner, Reggie Hernandez, the paraplegic war veteran, had never registered a backup owner or next of kin for you with Ambico. You were his only companion and only remaining family. Your parent company programmed a directive that, after you finished grieving, you would travel to the registered home of the backup owner, but since there was none, the secondary directive as a backup was to return to Ambico's nearest warehouse and announce your status as unhoused. One day, you tripped down a small hill in your home neighborhood near a construction zone and splashed into a puddle of some strange oil. This normally wouldn't be a problem, but when you spent some time recharging on your solar-powered battery later that day, it seemed to cause your outer coat to overheat. Your systems awoke you from your recharge during this, but not early enough to prevent it from frying your GPS system. Now, without a proper means to locate and return to the nearest Ambico warehouse, which you knew last you checked to be miles away on your own, you vaguely remember the general direction and wander in that way, all the while searching for somebody who might assist you with finding Ambico's nearest warehouse. 51 years pass without you coming across a single living human. As the days pass, rotting corpses you find turn to bone before dust, before nothing. Come across other robots here and there as you travel, but they seem to be less lively than you are. They follow the same directives they had been programmed with ad infinitum, doing rote tasks with no real outcome. You can't communicate well with them, and they are unwilling to cease performing their directives, so you move on. Recently, however, you come across something new. During a particularly horrible storm, you take shelter in a small shed outside of what appears to be a wealthy manor, and discover Rezor. You initially thought it was a human and were quite excited, but quickly realized it was another robot, just shaped like a human. Rezor worked for a wealthy celebrity before the apocalypse hit, who he simply referred to as Madam. Last thing Rezor remembers before he was shut down is that they had returned home from their usually busy traveling schedule for a short respite. Madam had ordered Rezor to shut down and recharge, having other security measures in place at her home, and the next thing he remembers is this little dog Chet turning on his switch and waking him up in the storage shed outside of Madam's home. You look around for a bit and find the switch, and he looks at you. Do you have any thing you want to say to each other?
Who are you?
Ooh, new master. Chet starts just circling around you, running with a very happy expression on his little digital face.
Rezor stares at the dog a little confused before makes an attempt to stand up and stretch his limbs a bit.
Hello, new master. What is your name?
I'm Rezor. Who are you?
My model is Rover, but you can call me Chet.
Chet, eh? Alright. What happened? I think I've been offline for too long?
Chet basically goes, well, I was at my home, and then I kind of wandered for a bit, and then there was this rainstorm, and then I came in here, and I saw you, and I thought you might not be human, but I turned off my living, my sensors that detect living things, so you're human, right?
No, I am not a human. I look like one, but that was mostly because of my purpose as a guard.
Okay, I will ignore that. And he just kind of runs around. So, we should probably get you registered as my new owner.
I don't know how to do that, but Rezor walks to the door of the shed and looks outside. Everything seems to have changed quite a bit from the last time I remember.
You look outside, and from last time you remember seeing the property of your owner, Madam, it appears that everything is quite grown over with foliage. What would usually be a very well-trimmed garden and well-maintained shrubbery has now gotten The closest thing you can think of is mangled and unkempt. There's vines growing on the sides of the mansion. It's different.
This is definitely not how I remember this place.
No, not at all. I don't know what happened, but don't seem to be any more humans. Sad.
No more humans? Where did they disappear?
I don't know. I mean, they might not have all happened at once. I mean, my master didn't all happen at once.
Rezor scratches his head and takes a step outside, then heads towards the mansion. I want to take a look inside.
Chet follows behind, kind of, since he was literally programmed, kind of trained to be with a war veteran with PTSD. He was kind of like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Are you sure you want to do that?
I want to know. I can sense that people are gone, but why?
I don't know, but my old masters used to say that sometimes knowing is a bad thing. Sometimes you don't want to know.
So I gather you approach the doors of the manor here?
Yeah.
Chet's
you
following
approach the front
closely
door,
behind.
You find the door is locked. They had multiple systems in place, and you, knowingly, can understand that if you were to try and force this door open, you would be setting off so many alarms. They had all these in place so that you didn't have to work too long while you were at home and could just rest. But it appears like the systems have been on for a while. There's a small little sort of little terminal right outside the front door for the security system. You vaguely know how to operate it, but it wasn't really your job.
Can I attempt to open the door?
So,
Or operate?
are you attempting to just open the door itself or access the terminal?
Operate the thing.
What's up?
The thingamajig at the side.
The terminal?
That I've
Alright. So I want you to perform a Digicon check for me to see if you can understand how to deactivate this system.
How do I do that?
So on your character sheet, Digicon is one of your intelligence stats. You just click the little dice symbol next to the word Digicon.
Oh.
We'll see how well you do.
Put value.
Input value, set it to 8.
Alright.
TN 8. You have 1 success out of your pool. Alright. So it takes you a little while and some deliberation over the system as Chet presumably chases its tail around in circles next to you. But
Yeah, pretty much.
After a while, you manage to interface with the system and understand that you require what would appear to be at least a 20-digit long password to deactivate this. And you were never told this password. It's not in your memory banks.
I take a look around to see if there's any windows broken or anything other way to get inside.
The house, other than the growing foliage, it appears that the house is completely untouched. Nothing has happened here in ages other than the progression of time.
Well, in that case, I walk to a window and take a look inside from that.
Looking inside, you see a room caked with dust and dust. In the living room that you're looking into, you notice that the chairs and all the things that would normally be properly put away and organized and neatened by the staff of the manor is just still strewn about randomly as though a party had just occurred. But with all the dust, this party occurred years ago.
Master, I don't know if that's a good idea. You might see your master. That's usually not good.
I am confused.
Well, from what I've seen, I think all the humans are, well, not living anymore.
You mean they just died?
Yes. Strangely. I don't know why.
Keep in mind, as you're doing all of this, there's still a massive storm raging.
Oh, well, I guess that's one of the benefits of the plastic stuff is that I don't rust easily.
Yeah. Neither of you
I
are
mean,
designed to,
you
both of you are
notice
designed to be pretty water resistant, so it's not a problem. It's just that there's the loud sounds of rain all around you, and it's making any vision beyond so long hard to do because of the fog as well.
Ooh, maybe they have a doggy door.
Maybe.
There is no dog door on the front door, and you remember, Rezor, that she did not own any pets.
She didn't know pets, actually.
Good try anyways. So, what exactly are you looking for, Master?
Well, my purpose was to guard Madame, but if she is gone, I don't really have anything else. So,
Then maybe you could register as my master. I know where we can go. I mean, I think I know where I can go. My GPS was fried. I don't know exactly where it is. I know it's generally in that direction. He kind of points over in the general direction he was going.
He points to the west.
It was a warehouse. There you
Well,
can register.
I suppose that is better than staying out here in the rain.
Yes, but maybe we seek shelter first. I might be plastic cased, but I still don't want anything getting in between.
So
Well,
you
let's
both
go.
know that there's like there's like the balcony of the house, the mansion, which has an overhang that will protect you from the rain for the most part, minus what the wind is whipping at you. Or you could go back to the shed, which is completely covered.
Let's go back to the shed.
Okay, Master. Kind of just happily trots along behind you.
All right, so here I'm going to take over a little bit again. You have basically agreed to travel together at this point, but first you wait as the storm subsides. Later on, you start heading out west, and as you continue along for a while, you find yourself in the residential suburbs nearby from where Madame lived. It is a beautiful neighborhood, which, as you've noticed before, has been completely overcome with grass and plants and weeds and flowers. Everything you could think of is there. There are deer walking in the streets as if it's nothing. There are rabbits bouncing around. It's pleasant, at least from a human perspective. But for you, it's alien. Coming to the end of the street, you take a detour down what appears to be an interesting path and find yourselves outside a large gated area. Chet, you smell. Would you do a perception roll for me?
What would be a perception?
It's under chassis.
Oh, alright.
Difficulty 6. TN6. Alright, yeah, you definitely smell it. So, as you come in, you smell the powerful scent of garbage, amongst other various mixed scents. You can, with a little bit of realizing how humans work, you understand that this is probably the local dump. But it might hold something useful.
Chet kind of goes down and just starts to paw at his green nose and just goes, "Ugh, garbage. This is definitely a dump."
Give me a second. I need to do something that I can actually see from your guys' eyes.
It's just definitely a dump. Very much smelling like a dump, but it might have something useful.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to check it out. Normally I'd worry about infecting my human, but I guess we don't have that issue anymore.
No, we don't. Alright,
I don't
let's
really
take a
know. All right, let's see
Okay,
if I can. There we go.
just have to get through this gate. What should we do, Master?
I take a look around to see if there's anything specific that will catch my eye.
So you notice that the path, as usual, is pretty much overgrown. There's still the obvious signs that it was once a well-trodden path, but you just basically see that it's leading you down south a little bit here. And as you approach, you can go ahead and move down a little bit more if you would like.
Yeah, I'm just following behind my master.
Yep. Proceeding down the path, you hear the chirping of birds and everything. And
Ooh,
as
birdies.
you finally get down lower, come to about down there. Right here, you see two large metal gates.
I think we can just open them.
Likely, unless they are locked somehow, but
So, do you approach the gates and look at them?
Of course.
Yes.
All right. Are you gonna check the locks or anything? See if it's locked or whatnot?
sure.
All right.
Which
So, do a reality comm for me. Reality comprehension. It's the first intelligence stat.
input value.
Both of us or just her?
You can both do it. It's up to you.
What's the target number?
TN of 7.
I have water in my eye or something.
Oh, it's okay, Master. I can get it.
So as you approach this, Rezor has some stray water that built up from traveling here go down through the slits near your eyes and causes you to have a little bit of trouble processing what's going on as you attempt to remove the water. But Chet approaches these gates and looks up and sees a lock. A lock that is rusted beyond belief. You could probably just punch this thing off.
Okay,
Master, I think we could just break the lock. It doesn't look like it's very useful.
Alright. What do I do to punch?
Interaction check. You just need one success at least. So TN 8. When in doubt, if I don't tell you to do it at an easier level, the default is 8 for difficulty. So TN 8 by default.
Is it the interaction pool that I press on?
Yeah, interaction pool.
Okay. So 8.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It takes you like a moment, but you just slap the lock aside, and the door jiggles a little bit, but you haven't really pushed to open it yet. But it's not locked anymore. You can just proceed if you want.
All right, let's head in.
So you push open the gate
Yes.
and are greeted by, as Chet suspected, the local town dump.
Hmm.
And within here, you see littered around tons and tons of garbage. So very much human waste, slow growing over of nature. It's disappointing in a way, but you'll manage. And alongside this, you see some other robots sitting around inside of here. None of them are
new
moving.
friends. New friends. Instantly goes to one of them
Chet.
and attempts to turn it on.
Be careful.
I'm
Right.
careful, don't worry. I won't get myself hurt.
To flip the switch on, I would like you to do a Mechanicon check of difficulty 5. Mainly to see if you can find the switch properly. You hear the sounds of wolves in the distance.
Can't find the switch.
Yeah, you struggle to find the switch on this.
So Mechanicon?
Yeah, Mechanicon, if you want to try and find the switch. Flip. Alright, you manage to find the switch after a little while. And lumber control. You slowly boot up. Welcome back to life.
I immediately try to wake up my drones.
Alright, I want you to do me a Digicon check 5. Because you're doing it remotely.
Digicon and do I...
TN5. So you click on it and then you type 5 and hit enter.
So I click on the roll thing and then DN5.
Yes. Alright, so your switch manages to activate all of them. They all slowly boot to life. 2 of them, the cutter drones, are positioned on the table here, and all 3 of your carry drones are in a stack, basically, over by some garbage bags. These guys are actually positioned in a way where they cannot move properly. Their wheels are not placed on the ground, so they would require some assistance.
Do they kind of like try to move, or like can you see their wheels?
Yeah, so as you notice them booting up, their wheels spin and whir, and you hear like the sounds of kind of shit as they fail to gain any traction or purchase. They move a little bit, but not enough.
Ooh, master, these ones are having trouble. Let's go help them.
No.
And Chet attempts to kind of flip them over with his like mechanical arm that's kind of coming out of his back.
Yeah, so you guys don't actually have any trouble with this. I'm not even gonna have you roll for it. It just takes a moment and you flip them over. So now there are 3 carry drones that are positioned nearby each other, and they all beep happily at you in thanks.
New friends! Oh, wait,
Yeah.
I think I see over there. New friend! And immediately goes to the next robot to attempt to turn it on.
So you
How do I
approach
get up
this
with
one.
that?
I'm not going to have you roll again. So you just after a while, you eventually find the switch. This one's a little bit more obvious because it's a home model and it's intended for ease of use. And Mr. Sweepy, slowly your screen boots up with a nice happy little chiptune sound that he programmed in whenever you boot up again.
Ooh, little tune. I love it.
Also, at this point, can I just pick up my cutting drones from the table they were on?
The
Basically.
cutting drones are on their side, but they eventually manage to gain purchase and can drop off the table on their own. They don't need any assistance.
Mr. Sweepy said it makes the Zelda you
Pick
found
up
a
for me,
thing
I don't know
noise.
how.
Da 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 da. Basically, yeah.
Mr. Sweepy said
Do I
yes
need to
that.
make any perception things to see, like,
So Mr. Sweepy has booted up and is functioning at the moment and can see a dump around it. You remember the last thing you remember was your owner being happy about installing something new on you.
And now you just see Chet's robotic face just directly in your face. Hi, new friend!
As they type up their response, there is one last robot that you can see.
oh,
And
what's this?
it's like,
Rezor
looks like a
walks over
toaster.
to the last one he spots.
Yeah, he's the last guy that you need to take care of.
Do I
And
need
you
to...
don't have to do any check or anything. You find the switch and click.
Click.
TOA-PA, you slowly boot up. Last thing you remember was the sad face of your owner shutting you down. And now you're in the trash heap.
As they boot up, they immediately begin to speak as they look up. Well, they don't really look up at the person, but you can see the camera on their front built into the chassis of the toaster whir up a bit. And you can just hear the faint but slightly distorted words of Anatole.
Say again.
Where? Anatole?
In the dumpster. Me and this others here found you just now.
The small toaster, it spins around for a bit, taking in the sights as it does.
It seems like something happened while everybody was offline.
Chet's still like waiting for this one's response, just like directly in its face, just like, new friend. Just completely absorbed. Just like, hi.
Mr. Sweepy said makes the Metal Gear found bweep. It lifts itself over Chet then drops over its back. Mr. Sweepy said begins cleaning.
So you see this robot jump to life, make a noise, whip, and jump over Chet and start cleaning around the dump.
Ooh. Chet begins chasing the Mr. Sweepy.
So now there's a dog chasing the Roomba around the dump. Mr.
Your
Sweepy,
friend wants
you know
to
that
play.
there's
Mr.
all
Sweepy
sorts of
said begins
cams and
playing the
shit everywhere.
Hyrule theme.
Rezor glances over at this and chuckles a little. And then he looks back at the little toaster.
So yeah, you do not see Anatole anywhere around you.
Oh,
The toaster, despite not having facial expressions, still seems to come off as confused as it says breakfast. Lightly grabbing the box with its arm and moving it slightly to see if there's anything under it. Or is that a chair?
This is like a paper bag on top of like some
Okay. It
washing
just
machine or
moves
some
the
crap.
paper bag.
The paper bag rustles, and as you move it, it slops to the side and spills out what was probably at some point a meal, but is now mush.
And then it kind of sees this the really big robot start to move along, and it stops chasing Mr. Sweepy and just kind of goes up and says, "Oh, hi, other new friend. How you feeling?"
The approach is lumber control here.
Where is this?
This is a dump.
Oh,
What's wrong? Are you okay?
tries to process.
Slowly trying to
I'm
process
not
where
sure
you are.
what has happened, but it seems all the humans are gone.
Yeah. Guess so.
Yeah, so Rezor, on the way over here, you've seen a few, basically, like, skeletons of people in the streets and whatnot, slowly decaying away.
Mr. Sweepy said bumps into lump 3R control repeatedly, then turns and continues to sing and clean.
It looks like Mr. Sweepy has a lot to clean since we're in a dump.
I mean, it is probably his purpose. Well, its purpose in this case, since it's a Roomba. But, yeah.
My purpose was to be a dog, and I'm doing that really well.
So as you guys look
you
around,
are.
there's dirt everywhere. It was a dirt ground, so there's really no means by which you could avoid, like, picking up dirt. And Mr. Sweepy, you fill up with dust and dirt and everything near immediately, to the point that you have to empty out and you don't have a proper receptacle to do so. You have to look around for something.
I don't think Mr. Sweepy can cope with this.
Mr. Sweepy said begin searching for its home base to dump.
So you attempt to find your home location to dump off whatever you have in you, and your sensors basically do not detect anything within a couple miles radius that seems like a home signature. Meanwhile, lumber control, your drones flock near you and all just sort of like beep confusedly at you.
And I just go running around. Oh my gosh, so many new friends! And just start
Mr.
circling
Sweepy
around
said
all
tiny
of them.
panicked beeping.
And then
Yes.
Chet immediately goes back to Mr. Sweepy. Oh no, what's wrong?
Carry drones are now trying to
So, Mr. Sweepy,
go
you
in
have a
circles around
means,
Chet.
at least with other robots, to communicate. What they hear is beeping, but you can just translate it as English for us if you would like. You can just say things to people. To in the actual game universe, you guys are hearing basically shit like kind of shit, but Mr. Sweepy is
Makes
capable
sense.
of communicating to you guys, and you guys can process basically you can process Morse code and English and encrypted like fucking binary as language. You can all
Yeah,
understand each other.
For example,
Mr. Sweepy said need to dump load. No place to dump load. Frowning face with open mouth.
Can we help you with it anyhow?
Couple times this popped up poorly because you dumped it into the brand new cardboard box of something that he had ordered from Amazon or some shit, but for the most part it worked out. And so this backup procedure can jump into play, and you can try and find a nearby cardboard box or plastic bag or some sort of receptacle that you could put it in. As long as it fits.
Mr.
So
Sweepy said find container. Need
Ooh.
container.
Ooh,
Mr. Sweepy starts looking for a box.
Ooh, I think I saw something over here. And he just starts, like, with his nose, just kind of slowly pushing over this trash bin. And it's like, I found this. I think my old master used to put trash in here.
So Mr. Sweepy gets to
I
see
bring
this.
carry drones over to help.
Basically, I just push it over towards Sweepy, Mr. Sweepy.
Yeah, so you get this big old plastic trash bin pushed over towards you, Mr. Sweepy, and
Well, over to help Chet with it.
You're
Basically,
coding
we just push it over here.
Yeah, so there's a little cardboard receptacle here right now, and you guys can easily see that your coding basically says this is an acceptable receptacle, so you can dump it in here.
Mr. Sweepy said goes to the bin, backs up and dumps. Mr. Sweepy said grinning face with smiling eyes.
So as the robot takes the closest thing to a shit in this campaign thus far, Mr. Sweepy, I would like you to do me a favor and roll for your overriding directive to see if it jumps up again or if you can sort of like ignore it for a short while. So it would be a, to my knowledge, Digicon check. And you have to get at least 2 successes at TN 8. So on your character sheet, click on the little dice symbol next to Digicon, and then type in 8 and hit enter. And we'll see if you get enough successes. If you get 2 or more, you can ignore it and focus on other things. You can also choose to keep doing it, but it gives you the option to ignore it. Yeah, so where it says Digicon under intelligence, there's a little, it's like a diamond with 2 triangles on each side. 1 triangle on each side. It's supposed to look like a 10-sided die symbol. And you get 0 successes, so Mr. Sweepy is compelled to continue cleaning for a little while.
Alright. I hope you do well, Mr. Sweepy. And he goes over to the toaster. Hello, toaster. How are you doing?
The toaster looks to Chet and it clacks its metal fingers together as it looks at the dog. It doesn't say much, not sure what to say to it.
Are you doing okay? Do you need any help? I can help. I'm programmed to help.
Confused.
Yeah, so
Mr.
there's this
Sweepy said
confused
makes the
robot
Final
lady.
Fantasy victory fanfare, then continues to clean.
Then da 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 da. Basically. So in the background,
Seems
there's
like we
there's
might be
a
here for a
Roomba
while.
continuing to clean. So I'm gonna fast forward us a little bit here. You guys continue for a while, and Mr. Sweepy is compelled to clean for a little bit. This place looks a little bit nicer afterwards, but it's still a mess. And eventually, you sort of manage to realize that this task is going to take too long for today, and you proceed to basically set it aside for later in your programming.
Or other option could have been that Rezor just picks the Roomba up and carries it away.
Yeah, or something like that. Eventually, you guys, you stop cleaning, and you are. Do you have any plans to like continue to search around here for anything, or are you gonna just head out?
Ooh, find new
Perception
things.
check.
Ooh,
I don't-
there's this big machine over here. Maybe we could use this. and it just kind of jumps into the seat.
Mr.
What's
the
Sweepy
target
said
number
Moo
if
heights
I-
make Mr. Sweepy sad.
New
Frowning
heights.
How
face
you
with
can
open
tell
mouth.
that the lumber control is in some way insulted by this?
You jump
what's
into
the-
the forklift. This forklift is not robotic, it's manually operated, but it also appears to not have a key nor any fuel.
What's the
Chet-
target
Chet-
number for
Chet vainly
perception?
attempts to honk the horn.
It does nothing. Anyway, Rezor?
What's target number for perception check?
For a perception check here, you are trying to find... What are you trying to find?
Anything useful?
So, useful, like, components and stuff? Alright. I want you to do a perception check for me at the general sort of TN8.
Alright.
You have 2 successes. Alright, so you continue to look about the area, and you explore some of the storage crates that are around here. This one over here catches your eye.
Chet's
You,
basically gonna go
Follow
like,
to it?
You open it up, and inside you find what appear to be some basic sort of standard circuit boards components. These would be useful for repairs should they be needed. And alongside that, you check some of the other containers. One up here catches your eye as well.
How many circuit boards?
Two circuit boards.
Okay.
You find 2 intact circuit boards. And up here, you see another thing. This crate,
Navigating my way through.
as you open it up, you find something you recognize as a human tool. You pull it out and click the trigger a little bit, and it's a blowtorch.
This could
You,
be useful.
You open up the fuel container to see how much it has. It doesn't have very much left, but it has enough to operate for a short bit of time. So you could use this potentially for a few tries. So you successfully have a blowtorch with a couple of uses for it.
Chet sees this and goes, "Oh yeah, I should probably gather parts for next journey."
All right,
And
so is
attempts
Chet going to
to-
go look around too for a perception?
Yes.
All right.
So perception 8.
Yeah, TN8. No successes for Chet. He gets distracted as he's wandering about and starts playing with a small, dirty rubber ball that like falls out of one of these bags as he's going through the table.
Ooh, I found a ball. This is the most useful item.
Basically.
Any chance that I can take a look at the nuclear waste?
You take a look at the crate with the nuclear waste symbol on it, and despite the symbol, it appears that this is completely empty. If you want to, you can do a check to see if it has any sort of lingering radiation, but being a robot, unless you stayed around here for the next couple hundred years, it would do nothing to you. It wouldn't deteriorate you much.
What, TN?
So it's just going to be, like, TN8, as usual. Yeah, you really don't notice anything of any value or any negative value in there. It's empty.
Chet excitedly sprints over towards Rezor and just like basically says, "I found something. It's so awesome. It's so perfect." And I
Yeah.
just drop a dirty rubber ball right in front of you. Isn't it great?
It used to be a squeaky ball, but the squeaker is dead, hence why it's probably in the dump at this point, and it's partially ripped open, but still useful.
Well, yeah, that is a nice ball.
I know, right?
Rezor is slightly amused.
Ah,
this.
used doesn't mean unuseful. what my old master used to say.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You
Do you guys do any more searching, or are you gonna call it about there? Sorry.
Toa watching Rezor do the searching, them being the most prominent figure in their life currently, bearing the most resemblance to a human, they mimic them, attempting to look for things as well.
Alright, so do a perception for me, once again, TN8. Alright, so, Toa starts wandering around, searching through containers in imitation of Rezor, and finds something over to the left side here, in this similar crate. You find in here, after rummaging through a bunch of unuseful garbage and rusted pieces, you find a small battery. It seems like sort of a standard battery, fit for a robot that is not too big. So it would fit you or any other robot size 3 or lower, and it would operate for a day, from the looks of it. And in this crate over here, you also find some additional useful, unrusted metal that could be used for repairs. Since most everything else is basically rusted hell, this has somehow been preserved.
Upon finding the battery, they go over to Rezor, holding it up high in the air with their arm.
So Rezor, you're being handed a battery.
Oh, thank you. He takes it and puts it in his pocket.
They then do the same thing, this time carrying a few sheets of metal as well.
You have some scrap metal. Now, the scrap metal is a little bit more annoying to carry, but Toa could probably carry at least one in the internal compartment easily. There are about 4 in total, though, so you would need some additional carrying. Luckily, you have 3 drones that are built for carrying shit.
Well, let's
Basically.
take those over here. Starts walking towards the carrying units.
Toa
And
follows
basically,
them.
and Chet just goes over to Mr. Sweepy. I found this, and just drops the rubber ball right in front of his sensors. Isn't it awesome?
The ball is supremely dirty. It is disgustingly dirty. Mr. Sweepy, if you want to avoid immediately trying to pick up the ball and cleaning it, to not, like, chew it up and break it, because you are aware that this would probably happen, but your directive is still to clean, you need to do another Digicon check for me.
Mr.
Uh-oh.
Sweepy said okay.
So the same as last time, Digicon check TN8. You have to have at least 2 successes to not try and eat it.
Mr. Sweepy said okay. Mr. Sweepy makes no promises.
That's good. You got 1 success, so you're almost able to avoid it, but Chet, you watch as Mr. Sweepy hesitates a moment and then sucks up the ball with his vacuum. The ball gets caught temporarily in the vacuum, and you can see as this loud sucking noise behind it keeps going off. Mr. Sweepy doesn't release it with a vacuum nozzle until all of a sudden the vacuum nozzle seems to jam. And Mr. Sweepy, you are forced to excrete this, basically. You're forced to shoot it out. And with that, you take 1 threshold damage to your damage threshold, your physical threshold.
Wait, so
Jam-
it shoots... Does it shoot out, like, all shredded up, or does it shoot out intact?
It shoots out in even worse condition.
So wait, it goes flying?
It goes flying over the fence. But you, watching as it goes flying over the fence, notice that it is in shreds.
It's like, aww, My
And
ball.
Mr. Sweepy takes 1 damage to the red bar, so you're down to 5. Your vacuum nozzle is a little bit rough. It was too big to get in there, so you couldn't actually sweep it.
And then Chet kind of like nuzzles it. It's okay, I forgive you. Ooh, you don't look so good. Master! Master!
Mr. Sweepy said make sad beeping.
Yes?
Mr. Sweepy, I think he broke one of his systems.
Let's go see. Walks over and takes a look. Seems he tried to take a little bit too big bite to chew.
All right, so
Mr. Sweepy said tried to clean dirty ball. Dirty ball 1. Frowning face with open mouth.
the
Let's
dirty ball
see,
one
can we-
and hurt Mr. Sweepy. So you can attempt to make a repair on Mr. Sweepy. This would be... Let's see, what was it again?
Probably
Pretty sure-
mechanical.
It's
I'm pretty
it
sure
says right. I have the book here. Trying to repair yourself or such. A robot's dice pool to repair itself or another robot is this Mechanicon rating plus dexterity rating.
Wouldn't TOA-PA be best for that then?
I have 5 Mechanicon,
Probably. I have 4 and 2 dexterity.
5 in 2.
I have 5 in dexterity and 2 in mechanic.
So lumber
So you
looks
have to
like the
roll
best.
you can roll 7d10, but your TN is, let me do this real quick because I need to figure out what the fuck this is saying.
Rezor classes around.
It would be TN 6. And
Any of you are better at this repairing thing?
Me and you are
So,
basically at the same level.
Toa clamps her claw a bit and says, "I'd like repair."
All right. If you want to take a look at the Roomba friend here.
Toa moves forward, inspecting the Roomba, moving around a few parts with the claw before attempting to fix whatever is wrong with it. Is there anything specific that's wrong with it that
yeah,
you
the
described?
nozzle of the vacuum is a bit busted.
Busted how?
So it attempted to suck in something that was too big, and now it's been sort of like warped too badly. So that it's not really
Okay.
functional properly, so it needs to be like
So
removed. Moved
So
around and stuff.
yeah.
Reshaped,
So
you mean?
yeah.
Yes. that.
So TOA-PA on their small claw, small hatch kind of moves down as a very low-powered laser kind of thing comes out of it. They begin slowly heating the edges of the nozzle and reshaping it to its original form.
All right,
So,
so,
the TN9
It's a TN of 6.
of 6, and
It's
I
it's
should just
easier
roll
because
a
it's not much
60
damage.
pen.
Yeah, it's a combination of your dexterity and your
Yeah.
Mechanicon.
So just roll C6.
You have 2 successes. So yeah, you managed to do it. It takes a short bit, but you're good. And you are restored to full health, but this takes about... The full process takes about, like, 20 minutes. So it takes some time to fix up Mr. Sweepy's nozzle, but it's fixed now.
Despite the time taken, TOA-PA still seems accomplished, clasping their claw again like they normally do.
All right.
And then Chet suddenly goes, "Oh, that's right. We have to go to warehouse. Come on, master."
And with that,
Wait.
we are going to take a short 5-minute break because I need to piss so fucking badly.
All right.
I can take a toilet.
gonna have to go too. See it a bit.
I'm gonna run to loot too.
All right. We're still a bit AFK. I'm just swapping it back to this because I'm back. So we're just waiting for everyone else to come back. So how's everyone in chat doing? Hope you guys are doing all right.
Your resident toaster is back.
All right, our toaster is back. We just have to wait on Chet. Is Mr. Sweepy still around? And I think DF was also AFK.
Mr. Sweepy said still here.
All right, that's affirmative. I can hear DF dying in the background.
I am back. Hey,
Welcome back.
You are dying.
thank
Slowly.
you. Yes. Always dying.
We are always dying.
All right, so Chet
I'm
is
already
back.
dead.
We're all back. We're all here. All right, shall we proceed? Everyone all set?
No.
Yep. Alright. So we left off with Chet basically going, Oh, Master, I forgot. We need to get to the warehouse.
Yep. So,
Forward.
as you slowly make your way back out of the dump, you stop at the gates and notice something on the gate posted.
So we move towards the gate then.
Yeah.
Come on,
So
everyone.
Right here on the wall of the gate, you notice something.
Takes a look.
There is a small sign, an advertisement of some sort on the front here. They must have just been posting up posters to advertise their business. But what you see is this. Roger's Scrap Services. We're your fix. Roger has been fixing cars, engines, and robots for years, and he's ready to help you. Services include engines, GPS.
GPS, we have to go to him. My GPS is busted. If we get it fixed, I can take us to the warehouse.
Takes the paper and turns it around to see if there's any kind of instructions where it is.
Yeah, on the back there's an address. the guy didn't really think too well to actually post the address, but from reading it and from knowing the vague location of where you are, you know that's about like, I don't know, maybe a 15-minute walk here from here. It would
Let's
be
go,
proceeding to the north, a little bit out of the way, but it's still worthwhile from what you can tell.
Alright, let's go take a look.
All right, so we head on out.
Any objections within the party, or do you all follow along?
Francis and everyone, you guys wanna come?
Well, probably Lumber Control is still very confused at this point. He's going to follow along.
Yeah, so most of you are just very confused about what's going on and sort of just follow along for lack of a better thing to do, since everything else is just a dump. Ha! So,
Ha!
you all are going to proceed out from the dump and head north. You follow along the roads, take a couple of turns to get on the right path, and after a while, you find a gravelly, it's sort of like this gravelly grassland area. It's a little bit on the outskirts of the town, but it's closer to where the more business and industrial kind of stuff would have been. Probably due to noise complaints, they had to be positioned out here instead of closer to the main neighborhood. But you come in and you approach a large gravel-covered lot. It's not an even driveway. There aren't any painted lines or anything. It's just a large brown dirt area. And as you proceed further in, you can see the various vehicles and parts that are strewn about this lot, parked strangely. You can move a little bit further if you want. So you find cars and trucks. Off to the left, Toa actually sees a big old school bus that was here. Just off to your left in the distance. I think I might have... Yeah, so it's up... Yeah, there's a school bus up there. And this place is covered in all sorts of stuff. And as you slowly approach to the north...
Stops for a moment and looks around for the Roomba.
Mr. Sweepy said is following along singing the Final Fantasy III Overworld song.
Oh, did I forget to add Mr. Sweepy in? Because I'm a genius.
No, he is in.
Oh, he's here. Okay, yeah. Just Rezor just looked around to check if he was still with them, or did he
He's just in the
already
back.
get separated somewhere?
You went up to the top right. Did you? I'm blind.
No, in the middle down.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, you just.
You can
trailing
see
along a
them
little
for
bit
some
back.
reason. Well,
oh yeah. I remember what happened. All right, I need to give myself view for all of you, because what I did at the beginning was I only gave myself view for Rezor and Chet to avoid like spoiling the surprise of finding you guys.
Also,
Mr. Sweepy said is slowly following because so much dirt.
I'm pretty sure that
Oh
we all
yeah,
have
you're sort of
this.
just sweeping here and there. Mr. Sweepy can understand that this is not actually considered a mess by human standards. You have enough of a human con to let you know that this is considered a driveway. It's normally like this. It is okay to leave it be.
And Chet sees this robot-looking thing. Does he?
So you proceed up to the north, and you hear the beeping and whirring sounds of technology. As you approach, you see a large... sorry, give me a second. I forgot to actually properly set the size for this gentleman. You see a large robot about the size of Lumber Control standing near a large garage door, and they turn to look at your party.
Hello, and starts like rapidly approaching. Hi, my name is Chet.
Wait, Chet. Wait.
Oh, okay. I wait.
Don't be too hasty.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Roro.
Hi, Roro. My name is Chet.
Hello, Chet.
My GPS is broken. Do you know where I can fix it?
GPS broken? We can definitely do the repairs for that. Sadly, I lack the current parts necessary to perform this task, but I can definitely point you in the right direction to find them. Who are these other fine, robot friends of yours?
Okay, so this is Mr. Sweepy. This is TOA-PA. This is,
I can't see
lumber
Toppa. Is it somewhere?
control. And this is my master,
Rezor.
Rezor. My master.
So you get a little bit of a better look at Roro, and anybody who's been approaching up here, I want you all to roll Perception TN7 for me. Rezor doesn't really pick up on too much. Chet sort of notices a couple of things, that like an obvious tool set and an external container that seems to be holding some metal parts and whatnot. Lumber Control has a little bit of a better time noticing and sees this guy is decked out with all sorts of equipment. Oh yeah. This is what it looks like
Yep.
for all of you. It
Aw,
doesn't really
kinda
zoom in
cute.
too much. You notice that this robot is decked out with all sorts of gear. He seems to have been here for a long while, and he's slowly starting to rust a tiny bit, and his gears are sort of a little bit noisy. They're giving off a lot of sound, but he has what appears to be a heat-resistant chassis with a similar hydraulic system to your friend Mr. Sweepy that allows him to move up and down to get to various locations. 2 front floodlights, that external container from earlier, higher quality cameras, a cutting laser, a claw, a jack, a liquid dispenser filled with oil. You can feel the nuclear energy coming off of his battery. He has a saw, a plasma arc welder, a smelter, that tool set, and an interface prong. This guy is decked out. He is super expensive looking, but also designed to look rather humble in spite of this.
Quick question. Can I use my wireless transceiver to talk with other people of the party?
Yes,
Other
you can
than my
use your
drones?
wireless transceiver to talk to people you designate.
I use this to basically communicate to everyone what I just saw.
Yeah, so everyone's
real life
been
about-
brought up to date. This guy's decked out with all sorts of equipment. He can do a lot of things. And as you can tell, it was all probably because he works in such an environment. All of these things seem to be conducive to him operating equipment and opening up and cutting through metal and resoldering things and everything you need to work on cars and robots and all of the sorts. So he's definitely built to be able to repair things and take things apart as needed.
Alright, and basically Chet goes, Master, didn't we find some circuit boards? Do you think you could use those to help repair the GPS?
Yes, we did find a couple circuit boards and a blowtorch and a battery.
I will see if these are appropriate for the necessary task. Or sorry, rather. If you hand them over to me, I can see if these are the appropriate tools for the task at hand.
Okay, sounds good.
Walks over and hands the things.
Roro's extended arm reaches out and grabs the circuit boards from you, and you see the camera sort of zoom in as he inspects them. You hear a couple of beeps as he sort of calculates everything, and then he hands them back to you, and you can see sort of like a saddened expression. I apologize, these would not be sufficient to repair a GPS system. They are intended for basic repairs on internals only.
Alright. Any idea where we could find
Yes,
proper
I do
part?
know a location that may have what you need. There is a office complex to the west that would be appropriate to check. I have been told by my other robot associates that this location has not been scavenged and may very well continue to hold the parts that you need.
Alright. We'll go take a look. Thank you.
Wait, hold up just a moment.
Yes?
And you see the robot, the interface prong comes out of him, and he motions for you to get closer. I
Takes
will
a step.
transfer over the schematics for what you are looking for, so you know where you are going and what you need to find. And so,
Thank you.
the Roro interface prongs, basically it's just like this cord that goes into your ear. You wait a moment, and it pulls out, and you now know the location of this apartment, this office complex that you need to find, and you know the basic look of what you would be looking for in order to find something that could fix his GPS system.
Alright. Thank you, Roro. I appreciate this.
You are most welcome. Thank you for visiting Rogers Scrap Services. And with that, Roro nods to you and sort of goes back to fixing this car over here.
Rezor takes a look around though now to see if TOA-PA is anywhere nearby. So do I need to roll perception for that?
Oh, you're looking for TOA-PA?
Yeah, but he's not inside.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me perception. TOA-PA, are you trying to be hidden or no?
No.
Alright. Yeah,
Just
there's
trying
no
to
real...
access the bus, but I didn't want to interrupt the main interaction.
Yeah, so
I
we're
was
sort of
waiting a bit.
swapping over to this point of view of TOA-PA looking at this bus over here, and you are up against the door. It's sort of the standard school bus affair. It's one of those things where you use a winch to open it up, but it can still be locked properly. And as you attempt to interact with it using your claw, stay over where you are currently, Rezor.
Okay. Whoop, whoop.
You guys can't see through each other's eyes, right? I'll fix
Yeah,
that in a
no.
little bit if
We
not.
can
We cannot.
Alright,
And-
yeah.
we can still see, at least I can, and on stream it makes sense, but I can still see through the robot's eyes.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that you can all see through each other, but you are attempting to access... You all will have control of each other's character. I'm just going to trust you not to move each other around willy-nilly.
Yep.
But it should give you vision over each other. And... you can attempt to open up this door. It would be an interaction pool check to open it up.
Sure.
And you are going to have a TN of 9 because it is locked, so you sort of have to mess around with it.
Okay. I will attempt
I
it.
can't see TOA-PA yet in my screen.
Yeah, I'm fixing it right now.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
You
There
got
we
2
go.
successes. All right,
Damn.
so as it's been happening before, it does take a little bit of time, but you are very quickly after a little bit of understanding how this locking mechanism works, you utilize your cutting tool and say screw it and cut it open, and this thing falls down and the door opens up. You can now enter the bus. I don't have any internals for the bus, so you can just enter the
Yeah.
bus and wander around.
okay. I go into the bus then.
All right, you enter this bus. This bus is a standard school bus, but you can see that over the years, the materials that make up the chairs that the students would be sitting in and the main seat for the driver they were all like a faux leather that is now deteriorating quite rapidly. So nothing seems to be... The structural stability of the bus itself seems to be okay, as you assume that something has been taking care of the metal and such to prevent it from deteriorating outright. and has been doing repairs. You can see a couple patch jobs here and there on the floor, but you have not met Roro yet. This happened off screen, so you don't know what caused it.
Should I roll perception to check if there's anything interesting in the bus?
Sure, go ahead and roll that for me. TN 8.
Okay. TN what?
8, the usual 8.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 is default for everything, unless I say otherwise. You got 2 successes. That one that you get. So normally, whenever it shows red, it means that you rolled a natural 1 on something, which normally would remove something. So it's a little bit harder than it would seem to look around. But you look around the bus, and you find in the back of the bus, in the seats that normally the older kids, as far as you have been told, would be sitting in, there are some basic tools left around. There's like a left behind, there's a hammer and a wrench and something. It appears like whoever had been repairing this thing left behind some tools last time they were here and didn't think to pick them up again. You could easily just pick these up and put them in your compartment. They would fit alongside that sheet of metal.
Okay. I'll pick them up and put them in my internal compartment and exit the bus.
All right. Yeah, there's not much else that you find in the bus. That's basically the gist of it. Somebody had left some repair tools in there. And
I thought like kids were bringing like hammers and wrenches to school, tending to beat up on some people.
yeah, the cool
Sounds
kids
like
were
Binghamton.
the cool kids were planning an assault. It's a good thing the apocalypse happened.
No. That isn't just some cool kids planning an assault. That's just Binghamton. And to anybody who lives in upstate New York, you know what I mean.
Oh boy.
That's just Binghamton. That's just the Binghamton school system.
Sounds fair.
Toa moves back towards the main group, spotting Roro.
Yeah, so you see Roro, and as you approach, Roro turns to look at you, not knowing that you were part of the other group. He's basically just like, "Hello, my name is Roro." He turns away from the truck.
Toa looks at Roro and begins defensively clapping its claws together.
Defensively clapping?
Yeah?
Oh, it's fine, Topa. It's not dangerous.
Toa takes a moment before begrudgingly going forward towards the main group.
Hello, I am Roro. As I have said before, I am the chief operator here at Rogers
You
Scrap
forgot
Services.
the voice thing.
I thought I turned it on. Oh well. Hello, I am Roro, chief operator of Rogers Scrap Services. Pleasure to meet you.
Toa looks at Roro and speaks for himself. I am Topa, breakfast maker.
Greetings, Topa, breakfast maker. It is a pleasure to meet you. I have just told what I assume to be your companions here about the location where you might find some means to repair the dog model's GPS system.
Yes. He gave us the location of an office building that we can go into, which I'm not normally used to going to, but I guess just for the parts.
Yeah, so for those of you that have an environment that you're used to, something that you're acclimated towards, you're not environmentally tuned to this area. The only person that's in any sort of comfort is lumber control because it is an outdoors area where you are right now. You're used to being out in the great outdoors because you worked in lumber yards and such and sort of just took up house there. So this is sort of comfy, but for Rover and for Mr. Sweepy, this is not a residential area, and this is not indoors at all.
Mr. Sweepy said does not like the
Rezor is
outside.
probably kinda used to being
Frowning
outside
face
too,
with
since
open
he
mouth.
was traveling a lot.
It's very uncomfy. It's not comfy,
Yeah.
it's uncomfy.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, so you guys have a little bit of an issue being here, but you can deal. You can deal. It's just
I'd say Rezor is okay.
Yeah, Rezor doesn't have any. It's a defect that you didn't take.
Yeah.
So you're used to any location. Anyway, so do you guys do anything else hanging around here, or do you go off?
We're going off, I think.
Yep.
Is everyone in agreement of that?
We'll be coming back here anyway, unless somebody wants to do something.
All right, so you're gonna be coming back here from what you know anyway, because Roro needs to be able to do his job. But in the meanwhile, you are going to be heading off to this office complex that you've been told about. You are wandering off, and it's about another 20-minute walk. It's a little bit further than it was to get from the dump to here. So you any conversations that you have along the way as Mr. Sweepy stops every now and then to clean up whatever you stumble upon on the road?
So, Master, what do you like to do?
Well, I usually was just doing my job, which was guarding, but I did on occasion hang out with people and talk with them about this and that.
Me too. But they didn't really understand me because I just bark.
Yes, that's the thing, yes.
Yeah, so this whole entire time, just so you all know, Chet has been barking in compressed binary. He has not been speaking normal English. The only person who is speaking normal English in the party.
Mr. Sweepy
is
said sings a
Rezor.
chiptune version of City Escape and bumps a can in front of it.
Fair.
Yeah.
You do you, Sweepy. You do you. You're doing right.
Alrighty.
Glances at lumber. What? I am so guessing you used to work in some kind of sawmill or something, since you have a saw.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy knows no other way to do.
So
yeah.
You're being asked a question about stuff, lumber control.
Yes.
You didn't really used to work in a sawmill. You used to work out in forests, primarily, was your
Yep.
location.
I
Yeah, like
primarily worked in forest.
Oh, alright. That must have been quite interesting. Different from, say, just cities and people. Or lavish parties, for that matters. Not that I usually took part in those, was just standing at the side and watching.
Waiting for somebody to try and shank your mistress.
Yeah. Like, halt! Yoink!
Yeah, basically. Alright, so a short little bit of time as you chat goes by, and you arrive at... You're in the bottom part, or at least you should be, of a large office complex. And this place doesn't seem pleasant. The asphalt and the sidewalks are all cracked and crumbling apart. There's been no maintenance to this infrastructure in years. There are skeletal corpses. They look like normal humans. I just didn't have skeletons. So every single one of these is a skeleton, but they're clothed in what appears to be very formal attire. Through some of the cracks here and there are growing plants. This place is a mess, but this is the small parking lot of an office complex, a nearby rural office complex or suburban office complex. It isn't too huge.
Okay, let's go. starts
Really
sprinting towards the
turns at
door.
the skeleton and frowns. What on earth could have made all of them die all of a sudden?
Did you want
Ooh,
to see
ooh.
what you can garner from looking at it?
Sure, perception.
Roll me either your perception or your reality comm. Either one. Whichever
Well,
you
they're the
prefer.
same. So target number 8.
Yes, target number 8. All right, with one success from that, you look at this, and this skeleton has no signs of trauma. It passed away. The best you can come across understanding is that it was natural? You're not quite sure. It wasn't trauma. It wasn't nuclear anything because you sense no nuclear radiation in the air. It just passed away as if somebody were to do so in their sleep.
This is weird.
Meanwhile, Chet's over here like, ooh, maybe there's more parts in the cars.
As you come up to there and get near those cars, you see in front of the doors is, in fact, a moving object that appears to be another robot.
Ooh, hi, friend.
Before you can even say that, this robot talks to you first and says, "Hello, I am Greeterbot. Welcome to Pearl Accounting."
Hello, Greeterbot. My name is Chet.
So you look at this robot here, and it appears to be a rather simple model. This little guy right here, he's just a cute little robot. He appears to have lost one of his limbs, but otherwise it looks like a crude humanoid-shaped robot with a large antenna on top of its head and 2 eyes that are obviously cameras looking out at you. It seems to have a very nice modulation to its voice and is obviously programmed to be welcoming.
Hello?
Hello! Welcome to Pearl Accounting. How are you doing today?
Well, I think all of us are fine considering the situation.
I'm doing amazing, Welcome Bot. I just met all these new friends and a new master. I'm having a great day. Oh, that's right. Is there any GPS parts in this building?
GPS parts? I am not sure. You would have to ask some of the others about that. And,
Mr. Sweepy said your parking lot is dirty. Be ashamed.
Mr. Sweepy looks at you, and, do you not have control over Mr. Sweepy on the map? I accidentally just moved you a little bit, so you should probably be moved up here.
I just read it in Discord.
Your parking lot is dirty. Be ashamed. I'm assuming you're up here at this point when you mentioned this.
Mr. Sweepy is my spirit animal.
We apologize. Karen, the director, has decided that maintaining the lot is not a huge priority at the moment, considering other priorities that have come up.
Do you have any idea what happened to the people?
Of course, the manager's name is Karen.
Greeterbot steps aside and clicks a button, and the door opens.
Ooh,
Mr. Sweepy said cleanliness is the #1 priority. Much shame.
Ooh, there's a laptop here.
Greeterbot looks at you. Hold up. Don't run in too quickly. Greeterbot looks at Mr. Sweepy and says, I apologize, but cleaning would not have been my job in the first place. If you would like, you should speak with Cleanster and Sweepster. And as you come into this building, Rover or Chet, you stop around here and you notice in front of you is, to the left of this desk, as you come inside the building here, you spot a floating and large robot that sits here. The main lobby of this room is supremely dirty and really dusty. It looks as though the facility hasn't been cleaned in the past 30 or 40 years, and the additional well-dressed skeletons only solidify this. A few moth-eaten and decaying couches can be seen towards the backs of the facility. You don't have to worry about it, you'll see it shortly. And the only well-maintained pieces of furniture appear to be this front desk and the L-shaped couch in the corner.
Mr.
Next to
Sweepy
the
said
desk-
much sadness.
Next to
Mr.
the
Sweepy will have words.
Mr. Sweepy will have words. Next to the desk is a large, hovering, hovering robot that turns and looks at the party.
A question.
And
Does the lumber fit in?
once again,
Yeah.
lumber can fit through the door, yes. It's a double door.
Alright.
It's big enough. Everyone can fit through this. Maybe a little bit of a tight squeeze, but you can get inside. This robot turns to you, and this comes out. You can all translate this, but not all of you are the greatest with Morse code, so I would like you to make a Digicon for me. Digicon check to see
What's
how well
the
you
target?
understand.
Alright. But
This is a TN of 7.
Alright.
Yeah, yes, but I literally grew up with a war vet.
Alright, yeah, so that's fair. Chet, you understand this natively, but everyone else, I want to see how well they understand this immediately, so making a Digicon check for me.
Wait, no, I rolled the wrong sheet. I forgot I had access to the bill sheets now. I pressed the wrong thing. Don't count the one I did.
Yeah, it's TN 7. Alright, so TOA-PA has an issue actually understanding and parsing the Morse code immediately. Everyone else, after a short while, manages to get it. You immediately understand what it is, Chet. He says to all of you the line that says, "Greetings, travelers." That is all that entire line of Morse code translates to. And that is all he says before continuing to hold his post. And behind the counter, you can see, alongside him, is a tall, humanoid robot android that waves at you as you approach.
Rezor
Hello.
lifts his hand. Hello.
Mr. Sweepy said you need to fire your cleaning services. They are a disgrace.
Before you say that, she says, "Hello! Welcome to Pearl Accounting. My name is Karen."
Hello.
Oh no,
How are
the
you?
Karens have become robotic.
What were you
Right,
saying, Rezor?
Rezor looks at Karen and lifts his hand. Hello. How you doing?
Karen looks back.
Mr.
First,
Sweepy
she's-
said huffily beeps and starts cleaning.
Karen looks back at Mr. Sweepy and says, "I apologize. We never really expected guests. We did not prioritize cleaning as a result." And with that, she then turns back to Rezor and says, "I am functioning very well. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome once again to Pearl Accounting. How can I help you today?
We are looking for GPS parts.
Karen, looks around a little bit and sort of tilts her head. She says, I apologize. I don't necessarily know about any GPS chips that could be found here. I invite you to look around, but please do avoid touching any of the skeletons. Also, the upstairs area is off limits. The structure up there is not sound, and therefore would collapse if we send anyone other than our lightest robots up there. Access to that area has been restricted to Cleanster and Sweepster.
Oh, but I'm really light. I was designed to be light.
She nods. I acknowledge this. However, please do not go upstairs, as per protocol.
Alright, thank you. We'll take a look around.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can look around a little bit if you want.
Mr. Sweepy said is deeply offended that cleaning keeps being referred to as not a priority. Gloomily sings the Mario Castle theme.
About all the dead humans.
So yeah, Mr. Sweepy slowly starts cleaning up. It takes a good while for you to even clean up this like tiny little segment of the place here. So as you move through, as you approach the various walls, you can see that there are doors to multiple locations here. First off, you see the signs marked for bathrooms in these two locations. There is one door up here. There is a large set of double doors right here. And another set of double doors over here.
I'm going for the double doors.
Is Karen working at this desk?
You can, as you look at Karen, you see that she is utilizing the laptop in front of you and doing some basic, what seems to be secretarial work.
Okay.
Rezor takes a look inside this room over here.
And Chet follows closely behind.
Alright, so Chet and Rezor come and approach this door, and you can open it up. As you do so, you are greeted by a very nice looking office, minus the fact that, yeah, it seems to still have accumulated some dust and debris over time. This office is what you would have assumed from your knowledge of humans, Rezor, is that this would probably be the boss's office.
This looks like the boss's office.
I think maybe the laptop might have GPS parts? Who knows? Let's check.
Alright, so
It's okay.
Rezor has these schematics of what is necessary to repair to the GPS components installed in your head, so you can inspect this, and you can, with a perception for me of only TN5, can you just roll that for me? You can see if it would be suitable. Alright, yeah, 3 successes. You see this laptop, and it just barely doesn't meet the qualifications that you were given. It could work for something very rudimentary, but you believe it would fall apart quite rapidly.
I don't think this is what we're looking for. It looks too weak for the purpose.
Maybe there's something else in here that might work.
Maybe.
You want to inspect some of the other parts of the room?
Sure.
What you do know from taking away from that is that the circuit board in that laptop is still functional and could be used.
Let's take it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I moved your thing.
Or the motherboard.
Well, I guess we could ask Karen if we can have that.
Okay. He immediately just starts sprinting out.
Well, while Chet runs over there, Rezor checks this phone.
You check the phone, same sort of thing. It doesn't seem like it would work. The phone has no GPS components whatsoever. Neither does the printer or copier in the corner.
So this room is a no-go, I think.
Meanwhile, like, Chet has ran up and goes, Karen, right? Where is it alright if we take some parts from some of the machines here? Not the robots, but the machines here so we can get some GPS parts? Ones that aren't being used, of course.
She nods to you and she says, "You may feel free to take any unnecessary components from the machines as you would like. We currently have a stockpile of things that would be necessary for our own uses and repairs."
Okay, thank you. And then just sprints right back. She said it's okay.
Alright. Rezor
So
works
yeah,
the computer. And
from this you get another circuit board.
alright, so
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Probably gonna have to get a backpack at some point.
Just check if there's anything else that could be used. Do I need to roll perception for that?
No, you're fine. You can find that there's some basic scrap metal from the copier that could be used, but that doesn't have a nice enough circuit board for robotic uses.
Alright.
And otherwise,
Well, it
there's
does
not
have
much
a
of value in
plastic
this room.
casing, which I have.
Yeah, you could get some plastic and metal from it that would be useful for repairs.
Hey, transporter, come over here.
The CARR-E comes over. That was
Rezor
my
takes
phone.
some parts from that and puts them into the transporter thing.
All right.
Thank you, little one.
All right, I need to do something real quick, so we are going to take this as an opportunity to take another 5-minute break should anybody need it.
Cool.
We will
Alright.
be right back.
Yep.
The
There's literally
BRB thing
no
by
way to
default
hear
is set up to mute the like desktop things by accident and me, so I need to fix that. But yeah, they couldn't
Yeah.
hear you. Now we're back. I have a sandwich. I'm going to eat a little bit. You guys talk amongst yourselves, please. I'm really fucking hungry and my stomach is chewing on itself.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as for when Mr. Sweepy merch is, as soon as we start getting more purchases on the existing merch, do you like shooting the sheep? Do you want people to stop shooting the sheep? Or are you feeling in between on the matter? If so, buy both of them. So that way you can wear the different shirt each day, depending on your mood. Buy the merch. Buy it. Only merch.
Buy the
Only
shirts,
merch.
all of
Only
them.
merch.
Buy it or we are going to shoot you instead.
Buy it. Buy merch now. Do it. This is non-optional. You have joined a cult. Buy the shirts. Buy it.
Sheep cultist now.
Place for the
Buy the merch.
milk for
Do
the
it
cow.
Buy
now.
it for your grandma.
Buy it for your grandpa. Buy it for your dog.
Cornflakes.
Buy it for your bowl of cornflakes. Just put a shirt over your bowl of cornflakes. Do it. Do it. Do it
That's
now.
Drinking
Do
sheep
Blood
it.
for
on
the
it.
blood god, milk for the cornflakes.
Exactly. Which translates to buy the shirts. Do it now. Do it. This is a threat.
This turned from a tabletop fucking campaign to a fucking
Into a
aggressive
kill session.
marketing scheme.
Yes.
Always says.
There never was a tabletop RPG. Buy the fucking shirts.
Buy the shirt. Buy them. Do it now. There
And we have
is no
successfully
option.
scared off maybe the one person still watching.
It says there's 11 people though.
I
Hey,
can check on moderator who's actually watching.
Oh, it's not
There is
Switch
some people who
members.
are actually watching.
But yeah. If Naimeen wants to make something, then I'd be fine with it, but I can absolutely not afford to pay anyone for stuff, but it is your character. God damn.
And
Just
If you buy the merch, I have the merch basically set so that I make no profit off of it. So you'll get the merch and I'll get a photo of you wearing the merch if you send me one. That'll make me happy. But for now, I am back properly. I've ingested an
Okay.
entire sandwich.
now,
Devour the sandwich.
Mr. Sweepy
agree,
said if I
Halo
can figure
Ace.
out how I wouldn't mind making something.
You would just have to make a really high resolution JPEG image of something that you would like. That might, like, something preferably not just with like borders or whatnot, but that might look nice on the shirt. And then I would be able to upload
Mr.
it
Sweepy
and set
said
up.
Mr. Sweepy should be loved in all forms.
exactly. We should just have cleanliness is the #1 priority. Much shame. Top text, bottom text. With
God,
Mr.
Halo.
Sweepy looking
Uh.
very angry.
oh,
Halo.
Halo is a
hello.
degenerate
Trisky
scum,
body
and
pillow.
I will look into getting a Mr. Sweepy body pillow. I mean, what?
Yes, we need Mr. Sweepy
Wait.
body pillows. We need to
We
hug
really
Mr.
do.
Sweepy
Mr. Sweepy
every
said
night.
grinning face with
This is a
smiling
cult.
eyes.
What would a lumber control body pillow look like?
Lumber control. When
Ah,
you
God
want
damn it.
your D to get sawed off.
I'm
Oh
getting rid of
god.
God
get
damn
this
it.
right.
All right, let us pick up where we were. So you guys get some stuff out of the machines and such that are in this room.
Yes.
So one thing I didn't say as Karen, but that she indicates, there is a closet in the hall down near where where lumber control is, that she would prefer you not loot too much.
Too much.
I'm
By
going to
that I
open
mean,
the double door over
she
here.
basically said, please abstain from looting the locker. She doesn't really specify which one's the locker, but
So let's not loot from the locker. We're nice robot people.
Is there a locker
Mr.
over
Sweepy
here?
said. Mr. Sweepy goes directly into that room.
Mr. Sweepy is a
All right, so
rebel.
Mr. Sweepy goes straight over here and opens the door towards the locker.
Oh, my
Is the
bad.
door-
I just.
I have a question. Is the door
Mr.
open?
Sweepy said Karen should have kept the building clean.
Oh.
Mr.
So
Sweepy's
Karen
looking
Karen
for
asks you
blood.
politely, do not loot the locker, and you come in here, and as you open up this door towards it, you see a robot standing in the hallway, wandering about slowly, very slowly. It is boop, this robot here.
Mr. Sweepy's about to throw hands.
Mr. Sweepy approaches the robot, and the robot turns to look at Mr. Sweepy.
And of course, Chet,
Hello,
being
I am
curious.
Cleanster.
Also, oh no. This isn't gonna end well.
Stop
Feeling
interacting.
awkward, lumbar control tries to go by.
Mr. Sweepy said you should be ashamed.
I do not understand. Why should I be ashamed? What is shame?
Mr. Sweepy said you clean, is that right?
My directive used to be to clean, but recently I have been modified to ignore said directive. Nowadays, I venture into the town nearby and search for knickknacks and fun things along with repairing parts.
Mr. Sweepy said shame. Who would do such a thing?
Who would change my directives? That would be Karen.
Uh-oh.
God, we're about to perform political assassination.
Mr. Sweepy said Karen must be stopped.
Must be. We're just gonna assault these so poor people pretty soon, and I don't approve of it.
Please
I
do not
totally
assault
approve.
Karen. She is a nice person and is my friend.
Mr. Sweepy said Karen removed cleaning priority.
By the way, Mr. Sweepy, do me a favor. Considering how dirty it is, I need you to roll me a Digicon
Mr.
check.
Sweepy said not nice.
Roll me a Digicon check, TN8. Oh, wow, you actually managed to do it. All right, so you managed to overcome this directive of yours that forces you to clean in order to continue to berate
Mr.
these guys for
Sweepy
not
said
cleaning.
Karen must be stopped.
So you have control of yourself. You don't stop to start cleaning everything manually.
Chet starts going to random doors and opening.
All right, so you're going to start opening up some of the room
Yep.
doors.
Yes, starting with this one. I think this is the door.
All right. We are going to stick with Chet for right now, and then we'll come back to Mr. Sweepy shortly. So, Chet opens up this door here. The door opens with a crack, and the door frame collapses and falls down. And you can see inside of this room is the office stall of what was once a living human. There is a desktop computer, a monitor and a keyboard, a copying machine, and as if you proceed inside, there is a small shelf to your immediate right for storing some things. And behind the desk is the skeleton of a well-dressed man lying on the ground, slowly fading to dust.
I just kind of use my loudspeaker and go, "Hey, Master, I found a desktop. Maybe it'll be more useful." So you just hear this booming voice of Chet coming from generally this direction.
Right. Chet, I would like you to do a perception check for me, Chet.
Okay. What TN?
TN 7.
Zero.
Chet is so engrossed in the fact that it looks like a computer that he doesn't even pay attention to it. So, Rezor, you come into the room and he's talking about this desktop computer that might be useful.
Perception?
Yeah, go ahead. Same thing, TN 7.
Same or five? Same or five?
7.
Okay.
777? A lot.
Right. After a little while of looking at the case, you realize that this has already been opened up and all of the useful parts have been removed.
It's already been opened up and everything useful taken.
Maybe this printer.
It looks same as the other.
You notice the same, that this printer has some plastic and stuff that could be useful for plastic repairs, but has otherwise been stripped.
Okay, you handle that. I'll go find more. Search dog. And then he kind of comes over here. Okay, this door.
As you approach that door, Mr. Cleanster turns to you and says,
Please do not enter my cupboard.
Okay, and then immediately goes to another door.
so you go over to this other door here instead, and you notice that the door for this one doesn't just open.
I attempt to open it anyways.
Clunk, clunk. It's locked.
Okay, next door.
All right. So you go to the next door.
Drone? Also, can I use?
Yeah,
cutter
let's
drone to
move
try
over to lumber control for a little bit. What are you working on right now? What are you doing with your drones?
Can I try to open the door? Which?
Are you trying to saw it open or something? How are you trying to do this?
Trying to saw it open.
All right, so you're trying to saw this open. It would be that drone's interaction check. And I'm going to give it a TN of the usual 8. So interaction pool TN 8. You got 2 successes with that. All right. So you actually do it relatively quick. These doors, the wood seems to be pretty weak from deteriorating over time and lack of any maintenance or cleaning. And you just, it's almost like butter. You chop through it. As Chet moves over to the next door, he can turn around and hear clank as the wood door hits the ground.
Oh, this door. Okay. And he goes into this one, ignoring the other door that he was just about to open.
All right, so you enter this room, and it's much the same as the other one. There's a little bit of a longer cabinet that's storing more things, but otherwise it seems to be the usual desk with a desktop computer and a printer. But unlike the other one, it appeared that there was a tablet set atop here.
And then, really excited this time, he turns on his loudspeaker again. Master, there's a tablet in this one.
So, Rezor, you just hear, in the loudest possible tone, bark, 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 from, like, the room next door, translating to what he just said. But it's sort of like piercing.
He lifts his finger against his ear and does this, like, little swinging motion, like, ow, my ear.
And with this, you actually see Cleanser comes by and looks at the door and says to you the following.
Please abstain from causing too much noise. Such noise could cause a disturbance with the structural integrity of the second floor.
And with that, Cleanser turns and proceeds off down the hallway.
Apologies.
Apologies, Cleanster.
You can't just run to me, you know.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He just kind of sits down and just wags his tail as he's found something new.
So,
Alright.
perception?
What I want you to do is Perception or Mechanicon, whichever you prefer. I think they're the same for you, though.
Perception is a bit better for me, so which one,
Alright.
what the target number?
The target number is TN8. Actually, no, sorry. You already know what you're looking for. TN5 again. All right. Yeah, 3 successes. All of them are successes. You immediately look at this tablet and say, that's it. That has the components we need. These are more recent GPS components. This is like a newer fucking iPoodle or whatever the fuck they call it in this universe.
Takes the pad and puts it in his pocket. This is what we need.
All right, so you have found the necessary GPS components, but you could still look around if you wanted to. You haven't found the staircase to the next floor yet, and there are multiple rooms that you still haven't seen, but you have what you actually came for now.
I would like to have Topa investigate the double door room that we haven't opened.
All right, so we're gonna swap over to TOA-PA. So just stay where you are, Rezor and Chet. We're sort of skipping over to the meanwhile. Meanwhile, as you have all been down in that hallway and chopping open doors and stuff, TOA-PA is up by this room here, and you open up. I need to grab the right layer. You approach these doors, and these doors have a lock, but it's really, really weak, and with just like half a moment with your laser, you manage to open it up. Door opens up, and you see what is obviously, or actually, give me a human comm.
Okay.
See if TOA-PA knows what this room is intended for.
I assume an 8.
Yeah, it's an 8. You don't really understand what this room is for. You just see that there are corpses nearby and a big table.
Yeah.
You were never informed about how office jobs and whatnot work, but you're in this room now. There's a big table. There's a bunch of stuff. There's me accidentally putting this dirt on the wrong layer.
Still,
I just thought like part of the
This-
table
this-
was just
this-
completely destroyed for some reason.
No, this dirt texture is supposed to be on the floor.
So what's going on with this smaller table over here?
It is a small set of cabinets. They appear to be unlocked. There is no lock on them, so you could easily just pry them open.
Okay. TOA-PA pries open the cabinets to see if there's anything of interest inside of them.
Inside is numerous documents. There are a lot of things that if you quickly flip through, you notice that they seem to be reports of some sort of financial stuff. It very quickly bores you. Otherwise, inside there is a small remote that appears to be for, if you look up at the ceiling over here next to you, there appears to be one of those smart boards in the ceiling that would come down, and you can quickly put it together that this remote would be for that. But otherwise, there's nothing really interesting in here.
Can I use the remote?
Yeah, do an interaction pool to see if you can figure out this remote, because it's a little bit more
Okay.
complex than you would think.
Yeah.
It has a few too many buttons to be simple. Interaction pool, it takes you a little while. You press all these buttons and so many of them don't seem to do much. You check the battery's fine, so you put it back in and you flip the remote over a couple more times in your hand, but eventually you manage to click the right button and this big board comes down from the ceiling. It is just about like so. Actually not slanted like that. I accidentally hit shift. So it is like so, comes down from the ceiling. It is a large white board. It looks just like a projector screen, but at the bottom, there are some other buttons and whatnot along the bottom of the screen that you do not seem to understand what they're for.
Okay, so it isn't really projecting anything.
You've gotten it to come down, but you haven't started
Yeah.
projecting anything on it yet. No.
Okay.
You are
Can
you are
I,
unsure if the like mechanisms for display
okay,
are
so I just
broken
have
or something.
and I pretty much have no idea what to do past that, yeah?
You could try and figure it out if you wanted to with a
Okay.
in this case it would be so you would have needed a Mechanicon to make it come down in the first place, but this would actually be a Digicon because you're trying to get you're trying to go over and fiddle with like the electronics of it to see if they work. Digicon check, that's a 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really seem to come across what actually makes this thing tick. It's a little bit beyond you. You're having some trouble with it. You did manage to get the screen to come down, but you can't get it to project anything. As you approach these windows, they are all... You notice that all of the glass is basically shattered and broken. It is in horrible state, just as most things have been. It's not repaired. There's littered glass around you. And you see yet a couple more corpses that you didn't really see very well from the front. Skeletons nicely dressed in very dirty at this point suits. And it seems like there were a few people here for something or other before whatever the hell happened.
Mr. Sweepy said everything needs to be cleaned, but Mr. Sweepy is angrily beeping at Karen.
Yeah, let's take a short aside and
okay.
say hi to Mr. Sweepy and Karen here, because I'm interested in this. So Mr. Sweepy comes out and basically beeps at Karen. Does Mr. Sweepy say anything in particular to Karen?
Don't mind the Borgidoko, she's sleeping.
There are wolves in the background.
Oh, he barks when he sleeps.
Yeah, she does sometimes.
Dog dreams. Dog dreams are cute. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm assuming it's taking a little bit
Mr. Sweepy
to
said, abuser. How dare you remove the sacred task of cleaning?
Mr. Sweepy looks at Karen and says this, and Karen turns around and looks down at you, and you can see her frown a little bit, but it's not one of anger or frustration. It's one of more concern. I apologize. As I said before, we didn't consider it a priority because of other humans not showing up. But considering we have guests now, we will increase its priority by a significant amount. And with that, Karen opens up a small little... She lifts up her left arm, looking at her forearm, and lifts up a panel on it, and types something in. And shortly after doing so, you see, to your left, these bathroom doors that you saw earlier. The one at the top is the women's room, and it opens up. And out of it comes another robot that looks supremely similar to Clean Stir. Slightly different. Very slightly different. But coming out of the bathroom that was not the thing I meant to do, god damn it. I almost accidentally just stretched them.
Stretchy boy.
Is a robot like so. From the other side comes out Cleanster, who you spoke to earlier. So now both of the cleaning robots have come out. And the one on the left approaches and sort of just like Securitron, the Securitron big old thing here. Its name isn't too important or a secret or anything. It's called Securitron. I just accidentally said that, but whatever. It's not a big deal. Securitron looks at it and beeps acknowledgingly and then turns back to watching the front door because that is its job. And this one looks at Mr. Sweepy and it goes,
Hello, I am Sweep, sir. Miss
Mr. Sweepy said you have done a terrible job.
Poor
We
Sweep.
apologize. We will get right back to it.
Yes, sweep sir, clean sir. Please resume high priority cleaning.
and with that, you see these two sort of just like whir a little bit. And Mr. Sweepy, you see, in spite of at the fact that they haven't been prioritized cleaning for a while, you can't help but admire the tool set they have.
Mr. Sweepy said beeps in awe.
And as this happens, basically Sweepster and Cleanster both proceed, starting at the front door, to clean, and they go outwards from one another. And Karen turns to you and says,
This building should be fully clean and habitable for humans within 3 days.
she then sort of just holds out a hand and says,
Would you like me to offer you the recharge port that we have available for the moment?
so keep in mind, this is one thing that I haven't really gone over too much, but you all have limited battery supplies. The only person that's in a really good position is Chet, because you have a solar battery, but you still need to recharge it every now and then. Basically,
Yes.
I would like everyone to do a check for me at this point, because you've all been traveling for a little while now. Chet and Rezor have definitely been traveling for a good long time. I would like you all to roll a power check for me of 8.
Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Sweepy really needs to recharge their battery.
I need to roll for every single one of my
Mr.
characters.
Sweepy said
I got
Mr.
0.
Sweepy would like that.
So I need to reach out too.
Wait, you need to?
I got
Yes.
a 0.
I don't
Rezor-
actually see your roll. It didn't go through on my screen. No. Yeah, I see it now. It's up. It's up further. It's right above Topa's. So Topa and Chet are both absolutely fine and can survive the next 24 hours with their current battery charged easily. But the rest of you begin to get a beeping in the back of your systems indicating you require recharging and must seek it ASAP, basically.
Do you kind of tell Rover this at all?
I also say that Rizzo starts suddenly looking tired.
Also,
Feels so good.
I need.
Oh, you might be losing battery. It's okay. I have a charging port. I can solar charge you.
Marius, roll the power check for one of each type. So roll it once for one of the CUTT-R drones and once for the carry drones. For the power. Yeah, all of you need power. All of you need to be recharged. The carry drones are fine, actually. The CUTT-R drones and the main lumber control both need to recharge ASAP. So you all need to find some sort of outlet or power supply that you can use. One has been offered already to Mr. Sweepy.
For my master, I'm just going to kind of like help her outside, and I'll just kind of lay down as solar arrays kind of sprout out from my back, and I plug into her, or offer to plug into her.
You are a port. She can plug into you.
Right.
He can plug into you.
And I.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Keep in mind. Keep in mind that Rezor is a dude.
Yeah.
Despite the effeminate look.
Oh, gotcha. I basically offer.
Rezor's basically a femboy.
No.
Oh, anyways, I kind of just let my solar array out, and I say, "You can plug into me."
Oh, thank you. Reloads as I does so.
And I begin charging up Rezor.
Mr.
So
Sweepy
power-
said Mr. Sweepy does not see eye to eye with Karen, but she did realize she was wrong. Offer accepted.
All right. Yeah, so Karen points you towards something that you guys missed while you were in the main office, which is a small power port that is located just on the inside here of the wall that Mr. Sweepy can easily plug into. With the solar battery, Chet, once you step outside at least into the sun, and Rezor can resupply. And the rest of you don't know about additional power ports. You would have to inquire. So lumber, TOA-PA is fine, as we said earlier. Lumber control and the CUTT-R drone need to seek out power immediately. You're not shutting down right now, but you need to seek it out really soon. So you should probably be asking about that.
How many doors are still left around here, except for the one we are not allowed to open, quote unquote?
There are, here, let me quickly just draw out the doors so that you can see them, because I realized that I didn't really leave much visibility for them. There is a door here, and here, and here, here, and up here.
Oh, give me a sec.
There are all those purple doors.
Yep. I immediately lumber control starts immediately to open up every single door.
All right, so you're trying to open up this door here, since you're right next to it. It is not locked. It opens up just fine. So, the door pops open. You see this room. So far, it appears to be the only office that you have stepped into that has not had a corpse in it. There's a small pile of pizza boxes littered in the corner. And not much else of note. At least from a glance. So do you want to check around this room a bit more, or nah?
Can I do some perception check?
Yeah, go ahead.
with lumber control or the drone?
Any of them. You can have them all do it. That's part of the benefit. You get more eyes.
I have 5 characters in total. That's a lot
No,
of
you have
eyes.
6 characters in total.
Oh yeah, 6.
You have 5 drones and your main
8.
character.
Yep.
TN8,
right?
yeah. Alright, Lumber Control doesn't
Oh.
find it himself. You can roll the carry drone 3 times and the cutter 2 times. Going forward, I'm going to have you roll them as a lump. I'll let you do it multiple times here. The carries don't know shit. Yeah, none of them know shit. Let's see if the cutter drones manage to notice something. Oh! Cutter Drone 2. So that would be... Cutter Drone 2, by the way, is the one with the shorter buzzsaw kind of one.
Yep.
Cutter Drone 2, coming inside of this room, looks about. You are all scurrying around trying to find something, and Cutter Drone 2 is the only one that seems to check underneath the desk. And underneath the desk, it finds a power slot fit for 1. So it can either charge up one of the drones or you.
One
But you
question,
only
how
have
do I
one.
enter there? How do I
You,
get in there?
however, the big guy, can't exactly fit in this room without really trying. So you would have to make an interaction check to get through the doorway. And you would
Should we
need
check-
at least 2 successes, I think.
Should we check and see if this is the port that Karen was talking about?
What's up? Oh, Karen already pointed out the port. Mr. Sweepy is using it in the boss's office.
Interaction.
Oh, gotcha.
Interaction with 8, right?
Yeah. Difficulty 8, you need 2 successes. And you get 0. You cannot fit through that door frame. You try and it doesn't work.
At least I don't get stuck in it, so that's the good part.
Yep. If you had rolled like one of the natural ones, I might have done that to you, but no, you're fine.
If you came outside and waited an hour, then Chet would probably be able to give you a charge too.
While you're doing that, I'm looting the rooms.
So
I'm still doing
basically,
something.
unless you designate it not to do so, Cutter Drone 2 will request permission to utilize this to charge itself. Because
Yeah,
it
it's
can
going to
fit.
use it.
Alright, so Cutter Drone 2 is stuck in this room for the next hour recharging.
Now,
There are still
next door.
5 different rooms. This one, so you try and open up the door. It doesn't appear like it's locked, but it's just a little bit, like, stuck for some reason. So what I want you to do is just do an interaction check to knock it open. I need just 1 success. So you attempt to knock this door open, and you succeed. The door falls on you, though.
Ouch.
You take a small dent to one of your front cameras, and you lose 1 damage threshold. But the door does open for you. You look inside, and yet another corpse, and yet another office. Seems to be about usual.
A little interruption.
What's
Like a small break because my stomach got upset. I need to run.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway. Do I find
Right.
anything in this room? Or do I do a perception check?
Give me a new perception check. It's a new room, new check. And remove the 1. You don't get an extra 1 for Cutter Drone 2 because he's occupied.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, you can stop there. Lumber Control notices that from the door, you just sort of assume and direct one of the carry drones to go over and check the same place that Cutter Drone 2 went. And there's another outlet underneath. And it is still functional. The carry drones do not need any power, so it would be the other cutter drone, or you could attempt the to success necessary interaction check to get yourself in there. So you get stuck in the
Damn.
door frame. And as you
Ouch.
pull out, you cause some additional damage to your treads and take another point to your damage threshold. Looks like you need some repairs on top of recharging.
Ouch.
The cutter drone could very well power itself up in there. But yeah, you're not
Right.
getting in there.
Yeah. It's going there and it's going to stay.
Right, so both of the cutter drones are accounted for. You need an additional outlet.
And
TOA-PA is fine.
everyone else other than me is fine at this point, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so
As long
Lumber
as you were
Control's
to
the only
go
one who needs some
outside-
means of charging.
As long as you were to wait outside, so that way Chet doesn't have to drag you out. If your battery died outside, then Chet would most likely go over to him and begin charging him as well. Hold on one moment. Yeah?
So, Lumber Control, what are you doing at this point? Are you continuing to try and open doors and stuff, or are you going to try any other strategy?
Yes.
Alright, you're going to just keep opening these doors. Gotcha. So this one right here, you open up the door just easily. It's easy as shit. This one isn't locked. Same sort of usual thing. Little corpse inside. You would need to make another check to see if you can fit in there. Every single one of these is just barely too small for you to easily maneuver through. You would have to try for every single one and get
Am
me
I
two
even going to
successes.
make a perception check to see if there is an outlet in there?
You can have the carry drones do it if you want. You may not necessarily even need to, because it's been consistent thus far. But you would need to make that check to get in the fucking room, as usual. So if you want to risk taking more damage to your treads,
You fucking think I won't?
hey! Lumber Control barely manages to squeeze through this door. You sort of accidentally take the door off its hinges, but luckily you do so in a way that doesn't really harm you. And with a little bit of effort and nudging some things around, you manage to get access to the port underneath here, and it doesn't work. No, I'm just kidding. It works just fine. You have a charge port.
Stubbornness for the win.
So you're gonna have to make another check to get out, by the way.
Great time.
I'm going to break down the fucking wall.
You're just gonna saw through it. Like, you can do that if you want. You just never asked about it. I just said you had to try and squeeze your way through. You could have tried to come up with something else. But with that in mind, it is about
Well,
4:30, and that was about the end of our total time.
Yeah.
So you have all found charge ports in this facility, and you have the GPS thing that you need. And you are all set for today, and we will have our next session, assumably next Monday, if everyone's all set for that.
Yep.
Alright.
Mr. Sweepy said this pleases Mr. Sweepy.
I love Mr. Sweepy. The Texas speech wound up being a good idea. I love it.
Also, apparently, chat really likes Mr. Sweepy, and Halo Ace really, really like Mr. Sweepy.
Mr. Sweepy said grinning face with smiling eyes.
Yep. Grinning face with smiling eyes. Such a weird way that it says
The
that.
emojis, no.
Yeah. All right.